Hey guys, so I know that this is a long video, but it's kind of a two-part video because something unexpected happened at the end of my Skydio 2 flight. So in the title, you notice that yes, my Skydio 2 crashed in the water. So if you want to fast forward to that portion and you don't want to see the full entire flight leading up to that moment, go ahead and skip to the time that I've put up on the screen. Alright, so usually I plan my videos out very far in advance, but I was out here in Jersey for a shoot, and my buddy Steve has been wanting me to come out here with the Skydio 2 to have it follow my car as we drive throughout these cranberry bogs. This is White Bogs Preserve, and it looks like a very beautiful scene out here. The one thing is the cloud cover is kind of killing the light, but I wanted to see how the Skydio 2 does following my car. Now, I've done this in the past. I've had the Skydio 2 follow my car, and it does a pretty good job. In fact, I think it's best case scenario because the car is so big, it's very hard for this drone to lose. But I've done a lot of other testing where I've had it follow me on like my electric skateboard, while I'm on my bike, while I'm just walking around, and this is going to give us a chance to see how this drone does at high speeds tracking a subject. Steve is going to be the one driving. I'm going to be the one kind of choosing where this drone follows us, and I hope he doesn't put us into the water.
I'll do my best.
All right, so we're in the car now, Steve. I guess you can just start driving. It should be able to pick us up. Right now I've got the beacon on. So we're using the beacon. We've also got my phone paired up to it. Yeah, we're tracking. It's got us. It almost looks like The Sims. So let's try and go, what do we say, 10 miles an hour. We'll put it at the furthest range possible from the car. What's great about this is that it's really wide open, and I know a lot of people want to see the Skydio 2 in tough terrain, not tough terrain, but in tough situations where it's not going to be able to, or it's going to be able to go around obstacles, but this is also another great scenario in which the Skydio 2 will be utilized in an open area.
I'm going to make a right here.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's still with us?
Yeah, it's still with us. I'm going to put it over to the right side. Have it follow us while we're driving. Whoa, look at that thing. I'll tell you what, when you tell it to go to a certain spot, it makes a really agile move to get there. Just like in my previous video, one of the motion tracking videos that I made, where I had the drone follow me on a bike, I'm also going to include the screen recording so you guys can just kind of get an understanding of what's going on with the drone, some of the telemetry. I wonder if we're going to be able to really get after it on one of these roads that go fast. Again, Steve, I don't need you putting my car in the water.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Put it in front of us. I'll tell you what, if we had better light, the footage would look great. We're kind of just doing this as a test to see how the drone does following us. What's your speed right now? How fast are you going?
15.
Okay. I'll put my seatbelt on so you guys don't have to continue to hear that. I feel like the tracking in the front is not always the best. I feel like the drone struggles to keep up. Go ahead and give it a little bit of gas here. So I just switched it to go behind us. How fast are you going?
Just under 20.
Okay, I see the telemetry right now. The drone's going about 17. This is some beautiful scenery, though. Steve has been trying to get me to come out here for like 3 weeks with this drone. Maybe hit the left.
Yep.
And then I'll have the drone follow us from the left. You can hear it from inside of the car making these different moves. I would say so far the drone's doing a really good job. The one thing that's kind of upsetting is that it's not able to really follow from a further distance than what it's at right now. So this is the furthest following distance. And especially when you're driving a car, you want it to be further away. I think that's where the Mavic excels. And in my video where I touched on the differences between motion track and active track within the Mavic 2 and DJI's drones, is that you can follow a subject from like 150 feet away, which is great. In this situation, it would be awesome to have the drone higher up, but instead I feel like it's right on top of us.
I'm gonna go left here.
Yeah, go ahead. I think that's the coolest, is when we're driving with water on our left and on our right. I think it's pretty funny if you guys are watching the screen recording at all, that it almost looks like the Sims logo, how above your character you would have that little triangle. So this is from the furthest following distance right now, and I feel like it actually is further away from the subject than I'd expect. I know that this drone and the software with it actually knows what subject it's tracking. So it'll say, you know, which subject you want to follow. If it's a person, it'll have a little plus sign. If it's got a car in its view, it'll have a little car emblem. And what's cool about that is it knows what it's going to follow, and it gives you a little bit more range. So right now, because we're in a car, it's flying further back than it usually would if it was tracking me on my skateboard. Try hanging left. I put it over to our right.
How's the footage look on the screen?
So the footage looks good. I'm only looking through what's provided through the actual, you know, phone being relayed back. And it looks a little bit dark, but it is kind of dark out here right now. Let's switch this over to the right, or I'm sorry, the left. It is really great to see the drone making these acrobatic moves around the car. I'm going to continue to make it go around in a circle. Actually, I can do this through the phone, so you guys don't have to continue to hear it beeping. So I'm going to hold. Oh, it's right to our right. That thing is so awesome. So it's great to have the phone as that backup option, and the reason it's great is because it gives you so much more information. You can also change like the height if you want to. You can make the drone spin around you in a circle. You can check your telemetry data. That's always important. So if we hold this down, see, I thought if you held down on the screen these circle icons that the drone would continue to spin around you. I guess that's not the case though. Also, I feel like just the responsiveness of using the phone itself is great because you can tell it to immediately go behind you or immediately go forward or I guess in front of you. Whereas with the beacon, you kind of have to click through all the different options. And sometimes I always end up accidentally making it go clockwise or counterclockwise, and I'll put it in an area where I don't want it to go. Whereas right now, when it's following us from behind, I can immediately tell it to go in front of us, and the drone will bust its ass to try and get there.
I'm gonna make a hard right here.
Yeah, go ahead. So if you guys are going to be using this drone to follow you, like if you're on an ATV, if you're riding a motorcycle, I mean, this test is going to be great for you guys because you can get an understanding of exactly how the drone will behave at these faster speeds. I know that we're not going necessarily all that fast. Maybe hang a right here. Yep. I know that we're not necessarily going all that fast, and it's kind of the terrain that doesn't allow us to do that because of the rough potholes and stuff. Put it over to our left. So it's kind of got, you know, some rough terrain here, so we're not able to go all that fast. But I found that if you're going 30 to 34-ish miles an hour, the drone is going to do great at keeping up with you. The one thing is, and I said this earlier in the video, is if you've got the drone directly in front of you, it's kind of going to be tough to track you just because you're going too fast. So here, let's put it in front of us. Right now, what are we going? 15-ish miles an hour. The drone does a good job at staying in front of us, but if we were to go the maximum speed of this drone, which is like 35, 36 miles an hour, the drone would just be standing directly, or not standing, but flying directly above us. Oh, wow. There's some really great wildlife out here, Steve was telling me, but again, it's kind of a dreary day. And that's also why I was interested to do this test to see how the drone would be able to handle in lower light situations following the car. Now, obviously, this is a much bigger subject, and we've got some really good contrast here. So we've got the car, you know, black car riding on the tan sand.
So you might want to put it off to the
Yeah.
He's out of the way. He's good.
I would like to also try and have the drone do a droney. Now here's something, I told the drone to follow us from behind and it's still following us in front. Not sure what the holdup is here. It seems like it's starting to make its way around. What I find is that if you aren't actively moving, the drone is just going to sit there, but once it determines which way you're moving, then that's how it decides where it's going to follow you from. So let's see if we can do anything here. I know that we can do a droney, so as we're driving down this way, you can double tap the Skydio button, and it does a droney. So now the drone is flying away, and we can increase the speed. Let's say we want this thing to go 22 miles an hour. So now the drone is not anywhere near us. That's pretty cool. Now here's the thing, is I don't know how the drone's going to get back to us. Right? So it knows where the beacon is. Hold on for a second. It just said beacon disconnected. See, that's the one thing that I was worried about with this drone. Let me get out of the car. That's the one thing I was worried about with this drone if you do a beacon shot. All right, so it says it's connected. Yeah, there it is. All right, so it started flying directly back to me. That's the one thing I'm kind of upset about with this drone, is that, like, when it's returning to home, it doesn't give you any indication. All right, Steve, we're good. Keep it moving.
All right.
So the signal instantly broke up as soon as the drone started flying further away. It's like a mud pit out here. As soon as the drone started flying further away, I instantly lost connection, and that's something that you guys have to be worried about if you're going to pop off a droney with this thing, especially like right now I'm inside of a car, which is kind of tough. You're obviously...
Yeah, right. You're gonna keep it to the left.
Yeah. Going around trees and stuff.
Yeah.
See how it performs.
Wow. I'm a little nervous because it's over the water and there's trees in between us.
Yeah. Keep it going though. You're good.
I was gonna say, move it away. Yeah. Can you make it go higher or no?
Let's see what the range is. I mean, the range should be...
Because you're gonna go coming over some trees.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting because we've got a lot of trees in between us, but it still sees us and it's still able to keep up with us, which is pretty cool.
Well, what do you want to do?
Just keep driving, keep going straight. Let's put it behind us. What's cool... Yeah, see, the trees are getting thicker.
Is it behind us now?
So it's trying to come up and over the trees. Let me put it to the right. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, wow, look, it followed us. That was pretty cool. All right, so that's what's great about the beacon, right, is that if it loses sight of the actual car, it's going to continue to follow you because of your GPS signal.
Now, this is going to be tough, I think, here, because it's pretty tight.
Yeah, keep it going. I'm going to put it behind us.
Yeah.
So it follows from the back.
That's your seatbelt.
Yeah, I had to get out to try and... The drone is just hovering there, so give it a sec. Keep moving forward. I'll look in the rearview mirror and see if I see it come up behind us. Yeah, it's starting to fly down the center. Just keep going.
It's still with us?
It says GPS tracking, so it's not following us directly. All right, give it one sec, give it one sec. I'm not getting any response back. It says beacon disconnected. All right, so I feel like it got stuck somewhere back here. I continue to hear it flying. I at least hear it moving, the propellers, which is obviously a good thing. This is something that comes up in a lot of my tracking videos, is like, to what extent is it actually worth it to have this drone follow you in a time where you don't want it to get stuck? So there it is. Alrighty. It worked itself free. And also, the lighting is not that great right now. It's very dark, especially where it got stuck back there. But the good thing is the drone didn't end up crashing. So we've got about 28% battery left. We're going to continue to drive down here a little bit. Yo. It just dive bombed into the water. Alright, so we were passing by somebody on the way out. He had waders. He was able to go in and get it for us. So the drone is completely waterlogged. It is drenched right now. I'm guessing that the footage is going to be okay. You guys probably saw the footage up until that point. It feels a little bit gross and slimy, and when he pulled it out, this is actually still blinking. This looks like, okay, it looked like the battery was on. This battery is probably toast, but I'm going to let all of this dry out. I'm going to go back home, I'm going to put the other battery in it and give it a try, see if it still flies. This video turned into a whole lot more than I expected, so I'll see you guys back in the studio. Alright, you guys, so it has been 2 days now since my Skydio 2 went down in the water, and it is now the moment of truth to see if this thing still works. I'm going to put my other battery in here, see if it turns on. I have yet to try this thing out, just because I wanted to give it a chance to dry out. Now, I can say that the battery that went down with this drone is toast. If you touch it, there's no blue LEDs that turn on, so this battery is done for. In fact, the entire night after I got home, it still blank blue. Also, there was like a green light blinking on the front here, and it was waterlogged. Like if I shook it around, there was water inside. I was shaking it down on the ground and water was coming out. So this battery is totally done for, but this battery here didn't go in the water. It was still inside of my case. This one is going to be good to try out. So let's take off the gimbal guard here. We'll put the battery inside of the drone, and we'll just turn it on here. Blue lights. Okay. So the drone is still functioning, it seems. We've got a blue light on the back. We've got blue lights on the front, just waiting for the gimbal to calibrate now and turn on. I did try to clean this drone up as best as possible because it was a little bit grimy. If the gimbal doesn't work, it's done for. Here's the thing though, even when a drone goes down in the water, okay, so the back LED is blinking from left to right. The front LEDs are blinking side to side. The gimbal still has not turned on. Here's the thing is that even if this drone still worked after being fully submerged, I wouldn't feel good flying it because I know that there could be a potential problem that happens down the road because this thing was fully submerged in water. So give me a second, let me go and grab the remote controller for this drone. We'll plug it in and we'll see the status prompt that it's giving us. Alright, you guys, so I tried connecting the remote controller to the drone, it wouldn't connect. I tried connecting the beacon to the drone, it wouldn't connect. It still says that it's looking for the Skydio, and also within my Wi-Fi networks, it doesn't show anything saying that there's a Skydio 2 network available. So I'm assuming that these blinking LEDs means that there's an issue with the transmission, there's an issue with, I guess, the way that the drone communicates with the accessories. I guess the way that you connect to the drone, that's what it's telling us. I wanted to email Skydio, I wanted to call them up, but I kind of want to save that phone call because I will be going through a warranty option, I guess, with them. I'm going to try and get my Skydio 2 replaced because I don't believe what I did was user error, and I know that people might look at my YouTube channel and say that I can just call them up and get a brand new free one, but at the end of the day, I'm just like everybody else, and I'm gonna have to call them up and see if they're gonna replace mine with their warranty program. Now, I figured I was gonna end this video off doing something awesome, like getting to fly this drone again after it was just fully submerged in water. As you guys saw when that really nice guy went in and got this drone for us, it was up to almost like his chest. So I guess I was a little bit foolish for thinking this drone would still work. I know the Mavic Air was fully submerged and that drone still worked coming out of the water. Yeah, okay, so what I want to do really quickly is go over a couple of things from that flight with you guys just to kind of round out this video. The first thing I want to point out is how great the footage looked. The drone did a great job at tracking during the time that it had when it was following my car around. And the shot leading up to when I popped off that droney shot looks so great. Like the scenery is just so awesome. If we had a little bit of sun, like if there was sunlight coming right in the back of my car, it would look so dramatic. It looked so great. But the one thing is like, why was it keeping my car on the left side of the frame? I wish that I was more centered in the middle and you saw the water on either side. That's a gripe that I have with the Skydio 2. But then as we go and we see the droney shot begin to move back, and I also moved the speed up to 22 miles an hour, it looked so great. That's the first time I've tried doing a droney shot while flying buying the Skydio 2, and I can say that if I do end up getting another drone because this one doesn't work, I'm gonna make use of this more because the footage just looks great. Now, as we begin to move a little bit further through this flight, actually right after the drone happened, the drone gets on the other side of some trees, and despite my car continuing to go behind these trees using that blend of the GPS signal and the camera tracking software, it keeps us in the frame, but at the end it ultimately loses us, and it makes a really great acrobatic move up and over the trees. And what would have just been like the cherry on top is if the drone regained connection, it locked onto me and then continued to follow me from behind, but instead it kind of couldn't find where I was and was looking around. And if anything, I feel like this would be the opportunity for the drone to go down in the water because it doesn't know what it's doing. But now we're getting into where I want to kind of discuss my thoughts on this drone going down in the water. So when I went back to go and retrieve the drone because it kind of got stuck in between some trees, it was following directly behind me, and despite knowing that I was the subject and following me because I had the GPS beacon in my hand, the drone wasn't locking onto me. I don't understand why it had a hard time determining that I was the subject despite it flying right behind me and despite me being the only moving thing in the frame. And then the weirdest thing is the fact that it just decided to shoot to the right and decrease its altitude rapidly. Now, was this a true dive bomb down into the water? Maybe not, but it really did decrease its altitude fast. In fact, if you guys want to go back to the time of when the drone fell in the water, you can listen in the background, if you hear closely, the drone going straight down in the water. You can hear the splash of the drone. So look, guys, I don't fully understand why this drone does what it does sometimes, and personally, I don't find it trustworthy, because if the drone is just following me, why would it decide to shoot to the right and then decrease its altitude? Even if you look at the telemetry at the time of when the drone went down, as we go a little bit further out here, it says that it was like 33 feet in the air, even though it might have only been like 15. So I'm kind of worried that the telemetry data might not be accurate, especially that height. I know that the area that I took off from was pretty much on the same exact level as where I was. I mean, out at these cranberry bogs, it is insanely flat. So yeah, my Skydio 2 is waterlogged, doesn't turn on, I guess it doesn't connect. And that's all she wrote. So guys, I'm gonna go through the warranty claim with Skydio. I'll obviously let you guys know how that goes, see if I'm lucky, see if they say to me that it was somehow my fault, and let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later, and hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.